Alrighty, I'm going to help you with the segment addition postulate and midpoint assignment. I will work through the odd problems with you and just mimic what is done with the odd problems when you work on the even problems, so that should help some. For 1 through 3, they want us to find the measurement of each segment. Assume that each figure is not drawn to scale. So first, let's write the segment addition equation for everyone. Again, remember segment addition is part plus part equals whole. So for number 1, that would be QP plus PN is equal to QN. Knowing that, that means 1 plus 1 1/4 is 1.25 is equal to QN. And the directions ask for us to find NQ or QN, which is the same. So that means 1 plus 1.25 would give us a 2.25 is equal to QN or NQ. Oops, I'm sorry. All right, let's go to number 3. The equation for number 3 would be FG plus GH is equal to FH. We know that FG is 9.7. We don't know what GH is, so carry it down. We know what FH is, it is 15. So we'll have to subtract both sides by 9.7 in order to find out what the result of GH is. So we can grab our handy dandy calculator if you need to. And 15 minus 9.7 is equal to 5.3. So GH equals 5.3. All right, let's jump down to number 5. For these problems, the directions say draw and label the figure, set up the equation, and answer the question. So number 5 says that T is between A and M. So let's draw our segments where we have A and M on the outside with T in between. Label it. So AT is 2x plus 1. TM is 7x minus 3. And AM is 34. So now let's write the equation. The equation would be AT plus TM equals AM, which means 2x plus 1 plus 7x minus 3 is equal to 34. So the first thing I would do is combine all my like terms. First would be 2x and 7x to give me 9x. 1 minus 3 would give me a minus 2 and bring down my 34. Now I would add 2 to both sides, which gives me 9x is equal to 36. And then divide both sides by 9, so x is equal to 4. And now we must answer the question. It says find AT. So AT was equal to 2x plus 1. So we know x is now 4. So that'd be 2 times 4, which is 8, plus 1 is 9. So AT is equal to 9. On number 7, the picture says that L is between N and M. So N, L, M is one way it could be drawn. Now we need to label the picture. NL is 6x minus 5. LM 2x plus 3. NM is 30. So let's write the equation in segment notation. You would have NL plus LM equals NM. Now we substitute the algebra expressions. You get 6x minus 5 plus 2x plus 3 is equal to 30. Now let's solve the equation. Combine 6x and 2x, you get 8x. Minus 5 and plus 3, you get minus 2. Bring down 30. Add 2 to each side, you get 8x is equal to 32. Divide both sides by 8, and you get x is equal to 4. So now we need to find find LM, sorry, which was 2x plus 3. So we got to substitute x or plug in x with 4. So 2 times 4 is 8, plus 3 is 11. Well, since I'm at the top, I'll do problem 11, even though it's out of order. It says that line P bisects segment JK at point W. So we're going to have our segment JK and a point W where you have a line bisecting it. Okay, and this is line P. Let me put W back. So when it says bisect, that means it cuts it in two equal parts. It cuts it in two equal parts. So draw your tally to represent that these parts are equal. So that means that W is your midpoint. So this scenario is when we do the part equals part, since we know about the midpoint. Now knowing that fact, we can write out our equation in segment notation would be JW is equal to WK. And now we can substitute the algebraic expressions. And it said that, let me erase a little bit because I wrote over it. Alrighty. So JW is 7x plus 29. WK is 3x plus 37. First things I would do is join 3x with 7x by subtracting it on both sides. That would give me 4x plus 29 is equal to 37. Then I would subtract 29 from both sides, which would give me 4x is equal to 8. And then divide both sides by 4, so x is equal to 2. And now we have to find JW. JW was equal to 7x plus 29. So 7 times 2 plus 29. 7 times 2 is 14. And 14 plus 29 would give us 43. Yes. And a teachable moment, I would also substitute it into WK to see that it's the same measure and that we've solved our equation correctly. So let's substitute it into WK as well, just to check that we did solve it correctly. So 3 times 2 is 6. 37 plus 6 is again 43. So yes, 2 is the correct x. And anytime you have a midpoint question, you should probably do that to check it that you've solved correctly. And we could have even checked it before when it wasn't a midpoint question, just to make sure everything was as it should. Number 9 says that A is the midpoint of CT. So draw our segment, put A in the middle, so it would spell cat, and we know it's the midpoint because of the tally marks. CA is 9x minus 7. CT is 15x plus 19. So this is another example of part equals part, since again we're dealing with the midpoint. So that means that CA is equal to AT. Now substitute the algebraic expressions. You would have 9x minus 7 is equal to 15x plus 19. And solve for x by subtracting 9x first, which will leave you with negative 7 is equal to 6x plus 19. Then I would subtract 19 from both sides, which would give you a negative 26 is equal to 6x. And then divide both sides by 6. And let's grab our handy dandy calculator for this one because it's going to be a fraction, which are yummy. So negative 26 divided by 6 is negative 4.333. Ooh, that's nasty. That is nasty, nasty, nasty. As a fraction, if I reduced it by 2, you would end up with negative 13 over 3 is x. Ooh, that's nasty to have that fraction. So now you're going to find AT. I recommend using the fraction version so that your answer will be more accurate. Ooh, AT is the union of CA and A. I'm sorry. No, ignore. Oh, I am so sorry. I did this problem wrong. Probably why I got a fraction. Let's rewind. Let's rewind. I labeled incorrectly. Ooh, wee. So it's CAT, right? And we know that these segments are the same. We know that the distance from C to A is 9x minus 7. We know the distance from C to T is 15x plus 19. So we're given a part and the whole. So even though this is a midpoint question, we're going to still use part plus part equals whole. So we're going to use the equation CA plus AT is equal to CT. Now, when I substitute the algebraic expressions, what you should realize is I don't have AT, but you don't need it because you have CA as 9x minus 7, And AT and CA are the same, so I can write 9x minus 7 again. I also have CT, which is 15x plus 19. There we go. So now I can solve for x. 9x and 9x are 18x. Minus 7 and minus 7 would give me a minus 14. Bring down my 15x plus 19. Then subtract 15x from both sides of the equation, which would give you 3x minus 14 equals 19. Add 14 to each side of the equation would give you 3x is equal to 33. Divide both sides by 3 would give you x is equal to 11. Woo, much better x. We don't like those fractions, right? And now we can find AT, which is equal to CA, which was 9x minus 7, because they're congruent. So that's 9 times 11 minus 7, which is 99 minus 7, which would give you 92. Woof, that's a big segment. And the last problem for your tutorials. Find Tm if m is between s and t. So let's draw this picture. So it would be SMT because M is between. Let's label correctly. Let's make sure we're careful again this time. We have SM 9x minus 8. MT is 2x plus 3. And ST is 72. So let's write the equation in symbol segment notation. It would be SM plus MT equals ST. So substitute the algebra expressions, and you would have 9x minus 8 plus 2x plus 3 equals 72. So let's solve for x. We have 9x and 2x together make 11x. We have minus 8 plus 3, which together makes a minus 5. Bring down your 72. Now add 5 to both sides. You would have 11x is equal to 77. Divide both sides by 11, and x is equal to 7. That was a nicer problem to end on. And the last thing we have to do is find Tm, which is 2x plus 3. So that's 2 times 7 plus 3, which is 14 plus 3, or 17. And this concludes your tutorial for this assignment. I hope it was helpful. Thank you.